Lin Moyu found a city again. The news that Lin Moyu found himself in the dragon massacre should spread. The defensive formations of each city have been opened, and the dragon people in the city are ready to fight. Lin Moyu glanced over and saw a large number of dragon soldiers on the top of the city, as well as warships that had already lifted off. The formation formed a shield, covering the entire city. There is no breath of the Dragon King, and this is also a city without the Dragon King. The restoration of the Scepter of Creation has come to an end, and if there are more dragon crystals, it can be completely restored. Although there are many Dragon Kings in the Dragon Clan, it is impossible for every city to have one. It can only be considered that I was not lucky enough to meet him. Lin Moyu reckoned that now the Dragon Kings would not dare to trouble him. All the high-level Dragon Kings were killed by themselves, and even if the ordinary Dragon Kings came in groups, they were just delivering food. With a thought, the sky instantly became pitch black. The dark clouds in the sky are churning, as if another world has descended, appearing and disappearing in the dark clouds. In the dark clouds, countless undead legions rushed out. The giant bone dragon roared, spraying dragon breath and falling on the formation. The headless horseman launched a charging skill, and hit the formation desperately, and the formation was distorted and deformed immediately. Skeleton berserker and skeleton archmage attack at the same time. The skeleton sharpshooter is at the end, with the bow and arrows fully drawn, and the soul locked on the dragon clan behind the formation. When the formation is broken, they will launch a fatal attack. The faces of the dragon people in the city changed drastically, and the timid ones were so frightened that they fell to the ground, trembling. Even if they were brave, they would feel as if a catastrophe was imminent at this time, and their expressions were extremely ugly. This kind of battle is really a bit scary. The formation can only block for a while, not even for a while. The magic crystal in the city has been operating at full capacity, but the formation is rapidly deformed under the attack, and it is about to collapse. All the attack methods in the city have been launched, but these attacks fell on the undead army and did not cause much effect. There are too many undead legions, and they are overwhelmingly Russian. The skeleton marksman who had been waiting for a long time started at the same time. Skill, soul shot. Round after round of invisible arrows landed on the dragon people and exploded in their souls. A large number of dragon people died in silence. Before they died, their eyes were round, and they looked extremely painful. The injury to the soul is far more painful than imagined. The dragon's breath enveloped the whole city, and countless dragon people screamed and fell down in the dragon's breath. Their flesh and bones were eliminated, and their burning souls were burned, leaving only bones. Many dragon people never imagined that one day they would eventually die in the breath of the dragon. Lin Moyu looked at the tragic situation in the city with solemn eyes, showing no sympathy or pity. Compared with the blood that the human race has paid, killing so few dragons is nothing. Not even interest. Lin Moyu not only has no pity and sympathy in his heart, but also no hatred. At this moment, he was extremely calm and extremely rational. He knows what he's doing and what to do. If possible, he would wipe out all the dragons, leaving no one left. As an intruder, one must be prepared to be obliterated. There will be no captives, and the human race does not need captives. The people of the Dragon Clan fought needlessly, and the ending was actually doomed when Lin Moyu arrived. 2 minutes later, a huge aura came from the distance again. The Dragon Emperor is here. From when Lin Moyu appeared here to when the Dragon Emperor came over, it took only 5 minutes. The Dragon Emperor was fast enough, but it was still a step too late. Lin Moyu saw the Dragon Emperor from a distance and felt the soul lock. At the same time, he also saw that there seemed to be a ball of light. The light gave Lin Moyu a sense of danger. Lin Moyu was about to leave instinctively, the soul power poured in, and the wings of the dead vibrated, cutting off the soul lock. But Lin Moyu was surprised to find that he was still in the same place. The space seemed to become extremely viscous, and he couldn't move in it. Not only himself, but also the undead army. There are also all the buildings that are collapsing, and all kinds of rubble are also stagnant in midair. It's not that time has been stopped, but that there seems to be an extra layer of glue in the space, sticking everything together. The Dragon Emperor's crazy laughter came from beside his ears. Lin Moyu, you are dead. The Dragon Emperor rushed over quickly, and Lin Moyu found that its speed was also affected. But the impact is far less than yourself. The bead in the Dragon Emperor's hand exudes a faint light, covering it. It's the bead. Lin Moyu instinctively felt that the current situation should be caused by the beads in the hands of the Dragon Emperor. This bead, which looks like a dragon ball, is constantly emitting light, and it seems to have patterns of formations on it. At the same time, there is also a strong aura of law revealed. The law is very strong, it seems to surpass the Dragon Emperor himself. Is this bead newly obtained? Lin Moyu had a guess in his mind. If the Dragon Emperor had always had beads, he would have used them long ago, and would not wait until now. Lin Moyu's soul moved, and a purple god-killing laser shot out. It is difficult for the body to move, but it does not prevent him from playing Zhushengli. The purple Zhushengli, which was integrated into the law of thunder and lightning, also slowed down in space, flying through the air at a speed visible to the naked eye. The Dragon Emperor easily dodged Zhushengli. Don't struggle, you are dead. While speaking, it raised the dragon axe, and with a bloodthirsty light in its eyes, it struck Lin Moyu with the axe. The giant dragon axe carried astonishing power, and accompanied by the Dragon King's Law of Stone, it fell mightily. Swish! Lin Moyu suddenly disappeared. Disappearing with Lin Moyu is also the undead army. The dragon axe cut through the air again. A huge force fell into the city, and there was a roar. Because of the formation, the space was frozen, and the city collapsed at an extremely slow speed. Cracks appeared first, and then slowly exploded. The whole process is like slow motion, hundreds of times slowed down. The Dragon Emperor was stunned. Lin Moyu disappeared again. This is impossible. How could he have escaped? The Dragon Emperor is about to go crazy. It doesn't matter if he escaped a few times before, but this time the space is frozen. How can Lin Moyu still escape? It's unreasonable, so unreasonable. The light of the dragon ball in his hand gradually weakened, and the formation covering the vast world disappeared. The space immediately returned to normal. The whole city collapsed completely. The Dragon Emperor's axe used all its strength, and it was infinitely close to a super god-level blow, completely razing the entire city to the ground. Originally, there were still some surviving dragons in the city, and they all died on this axe. The Dragon Emperor confirmed that Lin Moyu was no longer here, and roared like crazy again. It stands upside down with scales and armor all over its body, and the phantom of the dragon, Zhao Zhao Zhao, appears behind it, roaring non-stop. The sound resounded through half of the dragon world. Antares had a smile in his eyes. How does it feel to escape death? Seeing Lin Moyu deflated, this guy is very happy. I don't feel much, I'm used to it. Lin Moyu is really used to it. He doesn't know how many times he has died. Even if the Dragon Emperor's axe fell, it would not be able to kill him. So don't be afraid at all. It's just that Lin Moyu felt that it was meaningless to be a living target, so he activated Antares' dragon scales and dodged directly. Lin Moyu frowned. What is the Dragon Emperor holding? He knew Antares must have seen it. Antares said, which is a magic bead. Formation bead strength. Lin Moyu said he didn't understand. Antares said, a formation is recorded in the formation bead, which can be activated with the power of the soul and directly arrange the formation. Lin Moyu said, the formation space formation just now. Fart space formation, just because it is so miscellaneous, a dragon is also worthy. Antares was full of disdain. Lin Moyu felt that he really seemed to think too highly of the Dragon Emperor. It's only a half-step super god, how can it be possible to get in touch with the top space law? Antares said, it just uses the formation in the formation bead to solidify the space. There are many laws that can achieve this level, such as the law of water, the law of gravity, etc. Distance from the law of space, I don't know how much distance is missing. And this guy's array beads were also borrowed from someone. Lin Moyu asked strangely, I asked someone to borrow it. Is it strange? Antares asked back, there is no need to be surprised. They are just blood dragons, and they are cannon fodder just like the demons of the abyss. As cannon fodder, if you can't beat it, it's strange to ask for help. Lin Moyu asked. Lillian said that behind the demons of the abyss is the demon clan. Behind the Dragon Emperor should be the Dragon clan, isn't it your clan? Antares denied Lin Moyu's words. What you said is not very accurate. In fact, what Lillian knows is only the water chestnut. Lin Moyu looked at Antares with piercing eyes. I would like to hear more about it. For the sake of your sincerity, I will tell you mercifully. There are two branches of the demon family, one is hell-type demons, and the other is abyss-type demons. Besides, there are some small. The branch of 653 will not be mentioned. Lillian belongs to the demon of the abyss, but she is just cannon fodder. She was born and raised in the fragmented world. She has half human blood on her body. If she is discovered by an orthodox demon, she will die. Our dragon family is more complicated. We must first classify according to the strength of bloodlines, and then divide into various factions. The mixed blood dragons who came here belong to the elemental dragon family. If you subdivide it a little further, they belong to the rock-type giant dragon family. Anyway, these things, when you get to the big world, you will naturally understand that it is not a big secret. Just listening to it, Lin Moyu can feel the vastness of the big world. The dragon world and the abyss world, which span tens of thousands of kilometers, can only be regarded as fragmented worlds. And his own world is the perfect world, but it is only a small world. According to Antares, the world on his side is far from right. Because it has not really entered the big world yet, and has not yet experienced the baptism of the laws of the big world. It's like an egg that is still hatching. If it really enters the big world, the pattern of the whole small world will change drastically. From small to large, the volume of the entire world will increase by more than 10 times. Of course, while accepting the benefits, one must also accept the cruelty of the big world. In the big world, there are worlds where many weak and small races live, but they are destroyed for some reason. And these reasons may be an experiment by the strong, or it may be the aftermath of the battle between the strong. The big world is both beautiful and dangerous. After learning about the cruelty and vastness of the big world, Lin Moyu is full of expectations for the big world. In the future, we must go out, take a good look and enjoy the scenery. Lin Moyu asked, is there any formation in the hands of the Dragon Emperor? It's just a broken formation, there are plenty of ways to deal with it, as long as Ben Long moves his fingers casually. Stop. Lin Moyu interrupted Antares' boast, I just asked, can you do it? Antares shook his head, it seems impossible, but it's not impossible, if Ben Long wants to violate the agreement, he can still do it by force. Then you mentioned loneliness, so I asked, can I deal with the formation? Lin Moyu rolled his eyes at it, and talked for a long time, talking about loneliness. Antares shook his head, well, your strength is still a bit weak. If you have the strength of a half-step super god, you can use the law to fight against it. Even if it can't completely offset the impact of the formation, at least it's enough for you to fight back and forth with the Dragon Emperor. It's not like it is now. There is no way but to escape. This is another word for loneliness. If he had a half-step super god level, he would still need to be so troublesome, he would have killed the Dragon Emperor long ago. Among the same level, Lin Moyu has never been afraid of anyone, and has always followed the route of instant killing. Other than that, is there no other way? Lin Moyu asked. Antares tilted his head and thought for a while, there is no other good way. After all, this formation is at the level of super gods, comparable to the dragon axe in the hands of the Dragon King, and it just restrains you. The Dragon Emperor is only a half-step super god, and this kind of super god level equipment can only play a role that is infinitely close to the super god level in its hands. As long as Lin Moyu has reached the half-step super god, he can fight against it. Lin Moyu thought for a while, I want to try again. Antares was stunned, you really don't give up. I have an idea, try another line, if it doesn't work, I give up. Antares felt a little helpless, okay, then try again. It doesn't worry about Lin Moyu's safety, it has its own dragon scales, and the formation can't keep Lin Moyu idle. Antares sent Lin Moyu into the dragon world again. Lin Moyu restrained his breath, unfolded the wings of the undead, and flew towards the distance. Soon, a city appeared in sight. A medium-sized city, neither big nor small, and the number of dragons living in it is not too many. The formation of the city is activated, Lin Moyu disappeared, doesn't mean he left. The Dragon Emperor ordered all the cities to be vigilant, and Lin Moyu immediately contacted him when he found out. The sky became pitch black, and the army of undead charged towards the city with a destructive aura. The alarm sounded loudly in the city, and all the dragon people saw the army of undead killing them overwhelmingly. Everyone's face changed drastically, and they were extremely frightened. The overwhelming undead army launched an attack on the city defense. Only 1 minute later, the formation was broken. Then came the bloodbath. 2 minutes later, the Dragon Emperor appeared in the distance. The formation beads in his hand flickered, the formation was activated, and instantly covered a range of hundreds of kilometers. The space becomes viscous, and everyone and everything seemed to be stuck in a quagmire, making it difficult to move. Antares stared at Lin Moyu and saw through Lin Moyu's intentions. Lin Moyu is hundreds of kilometers away, controlling the undead army from a super long distance, ordering the undead army to attack. Perfectly avoided the Dragon Emperor, and did not confront the Dragon Emperor head-on. And after hitting another city, they will turn back, just like cleaning up the remaining garbage, which makes people puzzled. Lin Moyu has no purpose and does whatever he wants, wherever he goes. If you are interested, you may row tens of thousands of kilometers, or you may only go to a place 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers away. Cities were attacked by Lin Moyu. The powerful defensive formation in the Dragon Clan's city can't last long in front of Lin Moyu's undead army. Once the formation is broken, what they will face is massacre. And Lin Moyu, the master, never showed up. For a time, there was turmoil in the dragon world, and all dragon people fell into fear. If a world is killed by one person, it would be like this. The mixed blood dragon is just the mixed blood dragon, a bunch of trash. This kid killed it very happily, but this matter can't be done in obscurity. Faith, one of the fundamental strengths of the human race, may help you. Antares raised his paws, like a sneeze, and sprayed out laws one after another. The law blends into the world and disappears. In the next second, a large number of images suddenly appeared in the human world. These pictures appear in the sky like projections, covering almost every corner of the Terran world. The Terran world is huge, with a population of more than 1 billion. But in fact, the land area where the human race lives only occupies less than 1% of the entire world. At least 90% of the area is ocean. Now Antares casts a secret technique and transmits Lin Moyu's actions to the human world. Heroes should not be unknown. What a hero does should be known to everyone. General Lin is fighting for the human race in the world of dragons. Along with the picture, Antares' voice spread throughout the human world. In the picture, Lin Moyu controls the army of undead, attacking the city of dragons. One after another. It can kill a large number of dragons every time. After watching for a while, people finally understood what Lin Moyu was doing. For a time, the whole world was in an uproar. No one could have imagined that Lin Moyu entered the world of dragons and plundered their cities by himself. This is something that is impossible in the history of the human race, something that I dare not even think about. Lin Shenjiang actually slaughtered the Dragon Clan in the Dragon Clan world. That is the Dragon Emperor, a truly top-notch powerful existence. Is General Lin Shen very dangerous? Xiajing City, in the Imperial Palace. The Lord Dongfang Yi also saw the picture and heard Antares' words. As the lord of the country and at the same time a god-level powerhouse, he naturally knows much more information than ordinary people. He analyzed the whole thing almost instantly, probably guessing. Immediately, several orders were sent out from the palace, and spread throughout the country at an astonishing speed. The Shengxia Empire was operating with astonishing efficiency. A lot of information about the dragon race began to become widely known. It turns out that thousands of years ago, the Yin race invaded our human race world. The Dragon Clan once slaughtered our city, and more than 10 million people who killed us died under the sword of the Dragon Clan. The blood of the human race once dyed the earth red, it was all because of the dragon race. For thousands of years, the Dragon Clan has been driven out, so the human race's hatred for the Dragon Clan is not deep. But now after such a publicity, people know that the Dragon Clan also bears blood feud. Once, one city after another was destroyed, and tens of millions of people died under the dragon's butcher's knife. And not just being killed, many human races became the rations of the Dragon Clan and were eaten alive. The hatred of the Dragon Clan really deepened at this moment. People began to understand Lin Moyu's actions. Even people who were dissatisfied with Lin Moyu's massacre of the city at the beginning began to support Lin Moyu at this moment. This kind of hatred is more than described as bloody hatred. It's almost reached the point where either you die or I die. There is no possibility of any reconciliation between the two sides, nor is there any possibility of becoming a captive. As long as any party has the ability, it will inevitably put the other party to death. Only one of the two can survive, the other must perish. People worry about Lin Moyu, but also support Lin Moyu. I dare not say everyone, but at least more than half of the Terrans support Lin Moyu. Faith began to concentrate, gathered into a mysterious force, and passed it to Lin Moyu through the void. Antares felt this power for the first time, and muttered to himself, it's really a magical power. It's not the law, but it's amazing to be able to fight against the law. It's a pity why our Dragon Clan failed to drive this force. If our hundreds of millions of dragons can be of one mind, why are we here? Antares sighed a lot, with envy in his eyes, but also a little disappointed with his own group. The power of belief is amazing. It's like the country of cherry blossoms, the country of kimchi. 0. Ask for flowers. Although the national strength is weak, and the people of the country are somewhat shameless, they also have the power of faith. The god of thought is the product of the power of belief. Among the countless races in the big world, only a few races have this kind of power. But the only ones who can really drive this kind of power are the human race. Lin Moyu felt a warm current entering his body, as if his body was immersed in a hot spring, which was very comfortable. This warm current finally gathered into the soul world, was eaten by the 9-colored dragon's soul crystal, and then turned into extremely pure and impurity-free soul power and spewed on Lin Moyu's soul body. For a time, the power of the soul and the level of the soul have improved. Lin Moyu felt that he was a little further away from level 94. Soul power is transformed into a large amount of experience. He just reached level 81 not long ago. It's only been a few days of work, and it looks like it will be upgraded again. Antares' voice suddenly sounded in the soul. How is it? How does the power of faith feel? Lin Moyu asked strangely, the power of faith, isn't this what the god of thought needs? The pattern needs to be opened, and the vision should not be too short-sighted. The power of faith is a good thing, and it is also one of the fundamental powers of your human race. Come to understand it. It is said that the power of faith is amazing. I can't help you on this point. There was a hint of envy in Antares' words, it really couldn't help. Who made the dragon clan lack the power of faith? Lin Moyu knew that Antares must have helped him. How did you do it? It's just to advertise what you did in the dragon clan. After all, you have worked so hard, you can't be unknown, and you don't want to be the mastermind behind the scenes. There is also that little guy named Dongfang Yi, he is quite smart, and he helped you, which is considered to be fueling the flames. Plus you have a high prestige in the first place. In this way, everyone's admiration for you will be transformed into belief, and become the power of belief. It sounds obvious, and it is true. If it weren't for Lin Moyu's high prestige among the human race, everyone would know the name of Lin Moyu. This time, it is impossible to condense into the power of faith so smoothly. So everything is a matter of course, and Antares just did it conveniently, coupled with Dongfang Yi's help. This matter is like this. As for what benefits the power of faith can bring to Lin Moyu, only Lin Moyu knows. As soon as the undead wings flicked, Lin Moyu disappeared again. On the ruined city hundreds of kilometers away, the undead army also disappeared. The Dragon Emperor's angry roar heard. Lin Moyu still followed his own plan to launch guerrilla tactics in the Dragon Clan. When the Dragon Emperor couldn't find Lin Moyu's body, he could only order all the dragons to gather. Only in this way can Lin Moyu's guerrilla tactics be contained. Other than that, with its wisdom, there is really no other good way to think of it. The movements of the Dragon Clan are very fast, there are teleportation arrays between each city, and they quickly converge towards the Imperial City at the center of the Dragon Clan. Fortunately, the Imperial City is enough, even if it accommodates all the dragons, there is no big problem. It is really not easy to accommodate, and resident can be built outside the Imperial City. Lin Moyu came outside a city with doubts on his face. The formation is still in operation, but the city has been completely empty. Lin Moyu's eyes flickered slightly, and he had already guessed what the Dragon Clan did. It's not very clever, but it's very practical. They should all go to the Imperial City. Once the dragons are concentrated, Lin Moyu also knows that his guerrilla tactics will be invalidated. 050, he thought that the way to upgrade by relying on the Dragon Clan was broken. Check the experience, 95% of the experience at level 81, and 5% can be upgraded. Thinking about it seems a little reconciled. It's still 5% short, just get it from the Imperial City. Finally, let's fight again to see if we can kill a few more Dragon Kings. The Scepter of Creation was almost completely repaired, which was another reason why Lin Moyu didn't want to give up besides the upgrade. Lin Moyu flew towards the center of the Dragon world, the Imperial City of the Dragon is there, and the Palace of the Dragon Emperor is also there. The power of faith is still coming in continuously, gathering into a warm current. The level of the soul is improving little by little, and the speed of improvement is very slow, but very stable. That feeling, just like the 9-colored dragon's soul crystal, is very solid. Besides the improvement of the soul, no other effects of the power of faith have been discovered so far. Since it is one of the fundamental strengths of the human race, it should be more than that. Lin Moyu knew that the human race mentioned by Antares was the human race of Yinworld. In the big world, the human race is also a big race, no worse than the demon-dragon race. Since the power of faith can become one of the fundamental forces of a clan, it must have something extraordinary. When Lin Moyu was flying, the human race world had already exploded. The dragon city is empty. Where did the dragons go? The god general seems to know the direction of the dragons. I know, the dragon clan must be afraid of Lin Shenjiang's tactics. The dragon clan must have gathered together and dare not disperse. Haha, Lin Shenjiang alone can push the dragon clan to such an extent. Lin Shenjiang is amazing. God, look, there are so many dragons. What a magnificent city. The giant dragon statue in the center of the city must be at least several thousand meters high. This should be the imperial city of the dragon clan. In the picture, a terrifying picture appeared. Tens of millions of dragons gathered in one city. Inside and outside the city, in the sky and on the ground, all belong to the dragon race. Tens of thousands of dragons surrounded the whole city. They built a station outside the city, obviously preparing to stay here for a long time. As long as Lin Moyu is not dead and Lin Moyu is still there, they dare not go back. If you go back, you may be defeated one by one. Lin Moyu came outside the Dragon Clan Imperial City, restrained his breath, and hid in a place dozens of kilometers away. The Imperial City of the Dragon Clan has stood in the world of the Dragon Clan for more than 1,000 years. This is an incomparably magnificent city. There are beautiful buildings inside. A giant dragon statue at least 3,000 meters high stands in the center of the city. The statue looks a bit like the Dragon Emperor. No, it's not like, it is at all. Lin Moyu couldn't help sneering in his heart, it's quite narcissistic. Lin Moyu observed the Dragon Clan Imperial City from a distance. There is no formation in the Imperial City. I don't know if it is not activated, or there is no formation at all. Lin Moyu didn't even see a magic crystal. Probably too confident. But it's the same when you think about it. If they are all beaten to the Imperial City, what's the use of a mere defensive formation? Isn't that the case now? The Dragon Clan has been forced to this point, and the formation is useless except to delay some time. Lin Moyu kept a distance of tens of kilometers, hid in the dark, and went around the Imperial City to check the situation. After several confrontations, he has obtained a lot of information about the formation through the undead army. Many times, he secretly dispersed the undead army. Deliberately arrange many undead legions away from the battle group, thus measuring the range that this formation can cover. After repeated tests, Lin Moyu has analyzed that the range that this formation can cover is exactly 100 kilometers. Lin Moyu saw the Dragon Emperor in the Imperial City, and the Dragon Emperor was in the center of the Imperial City. There is an exquisite throne on the central dragon statue, and the Dragon Emperor is sitting on the throne. With the Dragon Emperor as the center, as long as you leave its range of 50 kilometers, you can avoid the formation. The Imperial City itself is more than 40 kilometers in diameter. In addition to covering the Imperial City, the formation can only affect the area 10 kilometers outside the city. Lin Moyu began to plan in his mind how to attack. Antares released the projection of the Dragon City to the world. All the races saw this scene, and they all sweated for Lin Moyu. Lin Shen will not be in danger, there are tens of millions of dragons here. More than that, you see the one in the sky. Quote, that is the Dragon Emperor, it looks a bit scary. Beside the Dragon King, there are many Dragon Kings, and there are more Dragon Kings in the Dragon Clan than are God-level powerhouses. General Lin Shen must be careful. General Lin, if you really can't do it, just retreat, it's enough to embarrass the Dragon Clan. Yes, you have done enough. You are not alone, there are us, we can fight with you. Countless people silently prayed for Lin Moyu, and there were also people who wanted to accompany Lin Moyu in the bloody battle with the Dragon Clan. The faith of the human race was ignited again, and the human race did not lose their spirit and fought fearlessly. Lin Moyu walked around twice, and probably had a countermeasure in mind. He began to retreat, retreating hundreds of kilometers, and completely disappeared from the sight of the Dragon Clan of the Imperial City. Then the undead army appeared. Following his will, all the undead army dispersed, forming a large circle with a diameter of 200 kilometers, surrounding the Imperial City. And Lin Moyu himself has always been hidden 100 kilometers away, controlling the battle through the sight of the undead army. Since completing the third turn at level 70, his control distance limit for the undead army no longer exists. Maybe there are still limitations, but at least so far, he hasn't found the limit yet. Even if they are hundreds of kilometers apart, they can be controlled freely. There is an invisible connection between the two sides, whether it is a law or a formation, it is difficult to block. Just like the undead army is trapped by the formation, which is full of laws, Lin Moyu only needs one thought, and he can take back the undead army without any difficulty. The undead army is all in place, and Lin Moyu takes a deep 0.8 breath. The power of the soul flows slowly. This is a battle that only belongs to the undead army, and he is the commander hidden behind the scenes. The undead army moved, and 400 skeleton dragons swooped down from the air, followed by the headless horseman, followed by the skeleton army. A few elemental liches also followed the team, adding aura to the team and increasing the damage. The aura of the elemental lich is generally effective against dragon warriors, but it is very effective against some dragons below level 70. Lin Moyu divided the undead army surrounding the imperial city into 10 groups, and all the numbers were distributed equally. The number per share is about 30,000. The first to attack were the 4 troops on the east and south sides of the imperial city. The siren rang through the sky, and the attention of all the dragons was focused on the undead army. You really dare to come? The Dragon Emperor suddenly sat up from the throne, his killing intent rising. For a moment, the sky was full of wind and clouds, and a huge phantom of a dragon emerged. The Dragon Emperor hadn't really moved yet, but just ignited the blood vessels and formed the phantom of the dragon, which had already caused great commotion. The entire human race world was silent at this moment, and everyone watched this scene dumbfounded. Shenlong Phantom looks so powerful that it makes people feel so small. Not to mention ordinary people, even a high-level god-level powerhouse like Meng Anwen trembles in his heart when he sees the phantom of the dragon. They have a deeper feeling than ordinary people. When they see the phantom of the dragon, they feel oppressed. This is the gap at the soul level. The half-step super-god began to control the laws and absorb the laws, which is much stronger than the high-level gods. The difference of one level is the difference between heaven and earth. Xiaoyu, be careful. Meng Anwen also sweated for Lin Moyu. The current situation is different from that in the abyss. At that time, it was only the Dragon Emperor, and now there are so many dragons. Although the undead army is powerful, it is too small when facing tens of millions of dragon warriors. The undead army rushing towards the Imperial Dragon looked more like death squads. The Dragon Emperor let out a roar, and the Dragon Clan immediately moved. There are at least 1 million dragons in action, and they may not be of high level, not as good as the O2 undead army that has reached level 81. Even dragon warriors of the same level can't compare to the giant skeleton dragon that is infinitely close to the god level. But there are too many dragons. The Dragon Clan devoured the undead army like a storm. This time, Lin Moyu was outnumbered. This is also the situation that Lin Moyu had expected a long time ago. It was all in his calculations, and there was no surprise. What's the use of having a large number? The key is not to be afraid of death. No one understands that the most terrifying thing about the undead army is that they have no fear, no pain, and no fear of death. Even if they fight to the last member, they will not collapse. Unlike the Dragon Clan, once the casualties are too large, it will definitely collapse. The corners of Lin Moyu's mouth raised slightly, and there was a cold smile in his eyes. Come on, let you have a good taste of the horror of the undead army. No one has noticed that the speed of the undead army is not fast. In this way, the front of the Dragon Clan was stretched. Millions of dragons left the imperial city, pouring over from all directions, swallowing up the undead army with their mouths wide open. The two sides have not yet come into contact, and various halos have played a role first. Many dragons burned raging flames inexplicably, lightning roared, and thunder and lightning fell on their heads. A layer of ice formed on the dragon's body, and the speed suddenly slowed down. The power of the halo is not great, and the level of props used by Lin Moyu to summon the elemental lich is too low. It can be used to deal with low-level dragons, and it can still play a big role. At the same time, the giant bone dragon spewed out a violent dragon's breath. All of a sudden, a large number of dragon warriors were burned to death. The skeleton archmage and skeleton marksman attack at the same time, the elements explode like fireworks, and the soul attack kills the soul silently. As soon as they came into contact, the dragon clan suffered heavy casualties. The dragon professionals also went crazy. With the full connection talent, the damage of the undead army will be shared by all members. During the attack, all undead legions took average damage. Those skeletons who hide and do not move, the skeleton dragons, are also suffering damage. General Lich continued to heal, and the undead army showed unimaginable resistance. The death rate of the dragon clan continued to rise, but none of the undead army died. The corpses are like rain, and the ground is covered with corpses, and they have piled up like a mountain in a blink of an eye. The Dragon Emperor did not expect that the combat power of the undead army would be so strong. It has never dealt with the undead army head-on, and it has always been Lin Moyu himself. It didn't pay attention to the undead army at all. Only now did I know that the power of the undead army seems to have exceeded its imagination. The Dragon Emperor held the formation orb in his hand, and seemed ready to make a move. But he didn't move, and stopped after thinking about it. It issued an order, and a high-ranking Dragon King beside him came out in response and rushed towards the battle group. To deal with the undead army, the high-level Dragon King is enough. It can't do it until it finds Lin Moyu. The high-ranking Dragon King came at a high speed, carrying the law. In a blink of an eye, he has joined the battle group. Its whole body was shrouded in flames, and what it understood was obviously the law of the fire element. The waves of fire rolled in, devouring a large number of undead legions. The undead army suffered casualties for the first time. Its attack exceeded the upper limit that the skeletons could bear, and the comprehensive new talent was invalid. The dead skeletons are instantly reborn in the summoning space. Simply using the undead army to deal with the high-level dragons is still too reluctant, basically there is no chance. But it doesn't matter, it's just a death, and it won't cause any damage to the undead army. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the undead army immediately dispersed to avoid the high-level Dragon King. Especially the skeleton dragon, spraying dragon breath at the dragon warriors, where there are more people spraying. The same is true for the undead army, avoiding the high-ranking Dragon King and staring at the weak dragon warriors. The high-level Dragon King continued to sway the flames to destroy the undead army. A few minutes later, 4 undead legions with a total of about 120,000 were finally wiped out. Even if there is a high-level Dragon King to take action, tens of thousands of dragons also died. The Dragon Emperor looked towards the southeast, guessing that Lin Moyu might be hiding there. After all, the undead army came from there. As soon as the idea came up, the undead army appeared on both sides of the northwest at the same time. The size of the number is exactly the same as before, and they are rushing towards the imperial city. This time, the Dragon Emperor gave up the idea of looking for Lin Moyu. He knew that Lin Moyu must have been hidden and could not be easily found by him. Since you can't find Lin Moyu, let's destroy the undead army first. With an order, the Dragon Clan army greeted him again. He still couldn't do it, and it was inconvenient for him to do it before he determined Lin Moyu's position. The range of the formation is limited, and it is impossible to cover all areas. Once it makes a move, there will definitely be a missing piece, which will become Lin Moyu's attack point. And it is the Dragon Emperor, how could it condescend to deal with these weak cannon fodder by itself? It also needs to save face. This is what Lin Moyu wanted. Another high-ranking Dragon King flew out and rushed towards the battlefield. There are indeed many Dragon Kings in the Dragon Clan, but there are only 4 high-level Dragon Kings, which is the same as the number of high-level demons. 2 statues were destroyed by Lin Moyu before, and now there are still 2 statues left. A previous high-level Dragon King returned to the city and was preparing to rest. Legions of the undead reappeared in the east and south. The quantity scale is exactly the same as before. Seeing this, the Dragon Emperor shrank his eyes suddenly, and said in a deep voice, "Go." The High Dragon King who just came back came out in response. Battle lines unfolded in all directions on the Emperor's face at the same time. The undead army still ignored the high-ranking Dragon King, and only attacked the dragons. The high-ranking Dragon King is indeed very strong. Using the law, killing the undead is as simple as drinking water. But after all, there is only one, and the undead army is scattered, and it will take time to kill them all. During these times, the undead army is enough to cause a lot of damage to the dragon warriors. Lin Moyu summoned the reanimated undead and let them rush to their original positions, waiting for the next wave of attacks. The battle is under its control, and the undead army can attack in various directions. And the frequency of death is not fast, just relying on the passive skill of undead is enough. The skill allows the undead army to die 3 times within 5 minutes. The skill will be reset after 5 minutes, and 3 more times. According to the current death rate, the undead army is almost immortal. The undead army was killed round after round, but repeated round after round, as if they couldn't be killed. The Dragon Emperor frowned. Why can't these undead monsters be killed? The range of the formation is limited, and it is impossible to cover all areas. Once it makes a move, there will definitely be a missing piece, which will become Lin Moyu's attack point. And it is the Dragon Emperor. How could it condescend to deal with these weak cannon fodder by itself? It also needs to save face. This is what Lin Moyu wanted. Another high-ranking Dragon King flew out and rushed towards the battlefield. There are indeed many Dragon Kings in the Dragon Clan, but there are only 4 high-level Dragon Kings, which is the same as the number of high-level demons. 2 statues were destroyed by Lin Moyu before. Antares laughed secretly. The half-blood dragon is the half-blood dragon. I can't even figure it out. The brat's skills are so perverted, you can't imagine it at all. The rhythm of the whole battle is completely mastered, you just wait to be polished slowly. Antares watched the whole battle, and it knew Lin Moyu's skills well. Judging from the current battle rhythm, the undead army will not suffer any casualties after another year or so of killing. Lin Moyu took advantage of the time difference and the resurrection feature of his skills to fight separately and in batches. Firmly grasp the rhythm of the battle, so that the undead army has no casualties. On the other hand, on the side of the Dragon Clan, after several confrontations, the number of casualties of the Dragon Clan has exceeded 100,000. A large number of dragons died and turned into a large amount of experience. White light is rising from Lin Moyu's body, and he has officially entered level 82. The power of the soul has increased significantly again. You can move the skill star core again. I'm going to make a fool of myself again. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. He knew that he needed 2 more star level skill cores. The skill star core will become a star, transforming from an ordinary skill to a star level spell. Although it cannot carry laws, it is still much stronger than ordinary skills. And Lin Moyu is looking forward to whether he can form a multi-star spell. As long as it can reach the 5-star spell, even if it cannot carry the law, the spell becomes very powerful. The more this battle was fought, the more the Dragon Emperor felt something was wrong. The Dragon Clan's casualties are getting bigger and bigger, no matter how it arranges. Even if the Dragon Clan doesn't attack, only the high-ranking Dragon King will do it. It is also useless. These undead will cross the Dragon King and rush towards them desperately. The Dragon Emperor couldn't help but want to do it a few times. Once the formation is activated, it is the only one who can act in the formation. The undead army in the formation must be solved by it itself. This doesn't seem like a good idea. But if it doesn't do anything, the casualties of the Dragon Clan will increase. Now it's not just a high-ranking Dragon King who has done it, but several other Dragon Kings have also done it. But it still couldn't completely prevent the undead army from attacking ordinary dragons. The undead army is like ocean waves, wave after wave, in a steady stream. It can't go on like this. Lin Moyu must be found. The Dragon King thought in his heart, and issued an order. The Dragon King will all deal with the undead army, so as to reduce the casualties of ordinary dragons as much as possible. It flew out like lightning, looking for Lin Moyu's whereabouts. He knew that Lin Moyu would not be too far away, and must be nearby. When the Dragon Emperor moved, Lin Moyu smiled even wider. Finally willing to move. The Dragon Emperor didn't find the right direction in the first direction, but it saw a few skeletons on the way. Seeing the skeleton, the Dragon Emperor thought about it all at once. It turned out to be like this. It knows why the undead army will come from all directions. It was all intentional by Lin Moyu. It deliberately let the undead army rush to the designated position before attacking. In order to conceal their position, the Dragon King felt that he had caught Lin Moyu's plan, and went in the opposite direction of the skeleton's direction. It felt that Lin Moyu should be right there, and it couldn't be wrong. But the result was still empty. At this time above the Imperial City, Lin Moyu suddenly revealed his figure. 2 skeleton kings up to level 93 appeared in midair. Strengthening soldiers, joint power, the two major techniques are activated at the same time, and all states are pushed to the peak in an instant. Lin Moyu and the Skeleton King swung their long swords together, and at the same time, they aimed at the ordinary Dragon King to kill God. 3 sword lights flashed in a row, and several ordinary Dragon Kings were instantly killed at the same time. The whole process is flowing and extremely fast. The Dragon King had just died, and the nearby skeletons had already started to fetch the Dragon Balls. Lin Moyu pointed towards the nearest high-level Dragon King. The purple shocking thunder came out. Not 1, but 3 in a row. The purple Jingxun Lei carried a half-step super god-level attack and landed, turning into a sea of thunder within a few kilometers. The high-level Dragon King was blown into coke amidst the screams, killing him instantly. The wings of the undead fluttered, and instantly came to the High Dragon King, and took the Dragon Crystal away. The skeletons have also taken out the Dragon Crystal, and Lin Moyu put the Dragon Crystal into the storage space as quickly as possible. All this only took a second, and Lin Moyu's movements were extremely fast, as if he had rehearsed countless times. Indeed, Lin Moyu has indeed simulated the whole process countless times in his mind. Just after doing all this, the space suddenly became viscous. All movements come to a standstill. Lin Moyu, you damn it. The Dragon Emperor was so angry that he rushed over madly, raising his hand with an axe. Lin Moyu sneered, but there are still a lot of dragons behind him, as well as the Dragon Imperial City. If this axe goes down, tens of thousands of dragons will die, and most of the Imperial City will be destroyed. The Dragon Emperor has clearly lost his mind, and now it just wants to kill Lin Moyu. Who could have imagined that the Dragon Clan paid an unimaginably heavy price in just 1 second of time when they left? The Dragon Emperor realized that he had been fooled and was deceived by Lin Moyu. All the things Lin Moyu did before was actually to get himself out. But I didn't even realize it, I was really fooled. Just at the second of leaving. It now only has one voice in its head, killing Lin Moyu and tearing Lin Moyu into pieces. Lin Moyu looked at the almost crazy Dragon Emperor, and his soul moved slightly, activating the dragon scales of Antares. The Dragon Emperor's attack lost its target again, and the huge power of law crashed down. There are indeed a large number of dragons behind Lin Moyu, all of which were wiped out under the power of the law. Then the giant axe smashed on the Imperial City. A large area of the Imperial City collapsed and turned into ruins. The Dragon Emperor's eyes were bleeding, and he stood in the Air Force. It knew that Lin Moyu had escaped again, without a trace. Still the same as before, it left here with a method it didn't know. The Dragon Emperor roared madly again, and kept roaring. But no matter how loud it roared, even if it shattered the sky, it would not help. Amidst the roar, the Dragon Emperor slashed towards the sky with one axe after another, cutting through the space and smashing out the pitch-black tent. This scene fell in the eyes of all the people, and it felt that the Dragon Emperor was really crazy, and was about to be driven crazy by Lin Moyu. The projection screen also ended here, and disappeared with Lin Moyu's departure. **, General Lin Shen is too good. I feel like the Dragon Emperor is going crazy. At least 100,000 dragons died this time, and 5 Dragon Kings died. The Dragon Clan has really suffered heavy losses, but compared to the blood feud of my human clan, it is nothing at all. If I have the strength of Lin Shenjiang, I must also enter the world of Dragon Clan and wipe out the Dragon Clan completely. De Wang Zhao. Not only the dragons, but also the abyssal demons, they must not be let go. What Lin Moyu didn't expect was that Antares' live broadcast this time completely activated the morale of the human race. Among the human race, countless people follow Lin Moyu as an example and aim at Lin Moyu. More people have become Lin Moyu's die-hard fans. The power of faith was once again strengthened and passed on to Lin Moyu continuously. Antares looked at Lin Moyu with a smirk on his face. Do you know, that blood dragon is going crazy. Lin Moyu shook his head. It can't be crazy. If it's so easy to be crazy, it doesn't deserve to be a dragon team. You've upgraded again. Are you going to start being mean again? Antares smiled strangely, as if his hands were itching again, looking eager to try. Lin Moyu took out the Scepter of Creation and the last 5 dragon crystals he got. Before that, fix it first. One of them looks different, with laws winding on it. It is the dragon crystal belonging to the High Dragon King. Antares whispered, you can't fix it like this. The creation scepter is shining, especially the life core at the top of the scepter. The light is even more brilliant. The core of life is constantly absorbing the dragon crystal, and the whole form is becoming more and more complete, and the aura of law on it has also become stronger. Seeing that the core of life was about to be repaired, Lin Moyu felt a little strange when he suddenly heard Antares' words. "Why do you say that?" Lin Moyu asked strangely. Antares chuckled, "You have to know, what is this thing made of? It's not enough to rely on the dragon crystal of the hybrid dragon." Lin Moyu looked at the core of life, and then at Antares, who was full of strange smiles. "Is this related to you?" "Otherwise." Antares took it for granted. Lin Moyu said, "Then why didn't you say it earlier? You didn't ask, did you? You clearly know." "I have no idea." "You sure know?" "I really do not know." The two refused to give in to each other. Anyway, Antares would not admit that he had a problem. Now that the matter has come to this point, Lin Moyu no longer wants to say any more meaningless words. "Then tell me, how can I fix it?" "Don't worry, let's talk later, let it suck first." The core of life devoured the dragon crystals one by one. Repairs continue, but 107 is getting slower and slower. Until the last piece, the dragon crystal belonging to the High Dragon King, was absorbed. The life core seems to have been repaired. But Lin Moyu knew that there was a tiny crack running through the core of the whole life. Calculated in proportion, the core of life has been repaired almost 99%, and it is still short of the last point. But this is the point that can greatly affect the core of life. The aura of law emanating from the life core is also incomplete. A small loss is 1,000 miles away. For mythical weapons, it can't be bad at all. Antares laughed straight. "How about it? I'll just say it can't be repaired." Lin Moyu said unhappily, "Let's talk now." Antares chuckled. "Dragon crystal can indeed repair this thing, but the dragon crystal level of the blood dragon is too low. Even if it reaches a high-level dragon king, it will be useless. Unless you bring the dragon crystal of the dragon emperor, it can still be used. As for other dragon crystals, no matter how many there are, that's all. It can be repaired, but it is impossible to repair it completely." Lin Moyu interrupted Antares' chatter. "Get to the point." Antares snorted softly. "You bastard, why don't you have any patience? It's actually very simple, because this thing is made of one of my dragon scales." Lin Moyu's eyes widened. "Your dragon scales? Is there a problem?" At Lao Su's level, making a mythical weapon from a piece of dragon scale is overkill. If it wasn't for that year. Antares didn't want to talk about it until now. It didn't want to mention many things back then, and there might be some secrets that it didn't want to tell. As Antares spoke, a breath fell on the creation scepter, and the creation scepter burst out with a light that was several times brighter than before. In the light, there is a faint sound of dragon chant, but it is very faint, and you can't hear it if you don't listen carefully. Lin Moyu felt that Antares seemed to be hiding something, so he deliberately erased his breath. This also caused Lin Moyu to fail to think of being related to Antares at first. After all, when the Scepter of Creation appeared, the Dragon Clan hadn't arrived yet, so it shouldn't have much to do with the Dragon Clan. At that time, Lin Moyu just felt a little strange, but didn't think about it. Only now do I know that it turned out to be related to Antares. In the dragon's breath of Antares, the last crack in the core of life is finally opened by you. The Scepter of Creation has been completely restored. This mythical weapon that once belonged to the god of life has been reborn. The strong white light rushed straight into the sky with the aura of law. Lin Moyu can feel its power. Mythical level weapons are weapons of high-level gods or high-level gods, and they have powerful power in themselves. Although it is said that mythical level weapons can be used above level 90, if you want to truly exert the power of mythical level weapons, you still need to reach level 96, at least you can drive the law. The detection technique flew out, and Lin Moyu checked the attributes of the creation scepter. Scepter of Creation, God of Life's exclusive mythical weapon, all attributes, ACEC, plus 500,000, skills, Light of Birth and Death, Resurrection. Light of Birth and Death, can heal or attack the target. Resurrection, it can reshape the body of the gods and heal the soul. After the repair, the properties have been improved. Skills have also changed, the Light of Birth and the Light of Destruction are fused together to become the Light of Birth and Destruction. Whether it is life or death, whether it is saving or killing, it is all in the user's mind. And there is one more resurrection skill. This skill made Lin Moyu see hope, and those gods who were seriously injured and sleeping in the battle seemed to have hope. Antares poured cold water on Lin Moyu in time. Don't think too well, this is a skill that can only be used if you become the god of life. The gods are now dying and sleeping. Even if there are gods who get the scepter of creation, it is almost impossible to become the god of life within 100 or 200 years. Unless there is the help of the will of the world, this time can be further shortened. But now the will of the world is asleep by itself. Lin Moyu said, "That's better than no hope." At least now Lin Moyu sees hope, which is much better than the bleakness before. Why does the scepter of creation made of dragon scales have the law of life? Lin Moyu felt the breath of law emanating from the scepter of creation. He was quite familiar with this law of breath, and he had really felt it before. Even almost had it. Antares said with disdain, "What level is Lao Su? Can't he understand the laws of life? Otherwise, how do you think Jiang Yi was resurrected?" Lin Moyu accepted this statement. The level of Antares is indeed beyond his comprehension. After feeling the breath of law for a while, he put away the creation scepter. Now it's time to get down to business. Lin Moyu sat cross-legged, the power of the soul rolled, and rushed into the skill space. Antares' eyes became excited, and he began to sharpen his sword. In the human world, after the live broadcast screen disappeared, new orders were sent from the power center quickly. When the Shengxia Empire received the order, it quickly entered a state of martial law and prepared for war. They have to beware of the dragon's attack. Lin Moyu's disturbance not only caused serious harm to the Dragon Clan, but also severely slapped the Dragon Clan in the face. It is not impossible for the Dragon Clan to attack the human race under the anger. In the Yuan battlefield, the atmosphere in each castle became tense. The magic eye constantly rotates, observing the entire Yuan battlefield. With the magic eye, it is almost impossible for the Dragon Clan to sneak attack. During this time, Lin Moyu's deeds have been widely circulated. Not only in the Shengxia Empire, but also in other countries. In the entire human world, Lin Moyu has become the #1 idol, bar none. All look to Lin Moyu as a role model. Everyone hopes that they can become the second Lin Moyu. At the same time, what the dragons did thousands of years ago has also been written into textbooks and is well known. The human race also realized that they still have such a sad history of blood and tears. One by one, they are more full of fighting spirit and work hard. At level 82, the soul power has increased significantly again. Lin Moyu entered the skill space, and he had the feeling of leaving room for energy again. Lin Moyu knew that this time, he could carry 2 skill star cores out again. At present, there are still 19 skill star cores left in the skill space. As the level increases, the soul power increased by each level will become stronger and stronger. There is also the continuous improvement of the soul level, and the power that can be exerted by the same soul power is becoming stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu is confident that before level 90, all these skill star cores will be transported out, and none will be left. It would be better if it could be earlier. After moving the skill star core, you have to go to the most mysterious talent world. The 3 major talents are more important than the skill star core, and Lin Moyu must not let it go. Once you reach the god level, the door to the talent world will become smaller, and it will be more difficult to get the talent out and integrate it into the soul. So all of this must be completed before level 90. Level 90 is called the god level, and it can be said to be the real first transformation. All the previous work was to lay the foundation for the first transformation. The more solid the foundation is laid, the higher we can go in the future. If you have a high-rise building, how can you do it without a solid foundation? Lin Moyu knew this well, so he didn't dare to relax even a step. The first skill star core was successfully moved out and sent to the soul world. The soul power rushed in desperately, and the soul body quickly became empty. This feeling is uncomfortable, but Lin Moyu has long been used to it. Not caring at all, when the first round of soul power was exhausted, Lin Moyu spit out the words Antares had been waiting for a long time. "I'm going to do it," Antares said with a smile. Lin Moyu rolled his eyes at him. "It's as if I haven't moved." Antares laughed. "I was just thinking about how to kill you this time." "Anything is fine, please hurry up, soft-footed dragon," Lin Moyu said angrily. "I told you not to call me a soft-footed dragon. This time I decided to use the law to kill you." Antares breathed out a murderous look. The hot air carries the blazing law of the element of fire, possessing super god level damage. The law of the fire element surrounded Lin Moyu, turning into raging flames and burning, and the undead army collapsed instantly. Roasted by the law of the fire element, the undead army died twice in a row. The flame disappeared, and then the wind blew up, and the law of the wind blew into Lin Moyu's body, and then exploded in the body. Antares controlled it very accurately, and after 2 law attacks, it just activated Lin Moyu's comprehensive newborn talent. Accompanied by the purple light, Lin Moyu injected soul power into the skill star core in the second round. Antares asked, "Are you still planning to go to the Dragon Clan?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "I won't go, the effect won't be very good if I go again, so let's just leave it at that." "Then what are you going to do next?" Lin Moyu thought for a while. "I'm going to go to the Abyssal Demon. The dragons are all gone, and the Abyssal Demon can't let go." Antares was a little puzzled. "Didn't you cooperate with Lillian?" Lin Moyu explained, "The cooperation is only with her personally, and has nothing to do with Abyss Demon. And she's going to sacrifice the Demon Clan. If I kill a little, she won't have any objections. Even, she may still hope that I can kill some demons. Maybe she will come out to stop me like the Dragon King, but that's just acting." Lin Moyu spoke very confidently. "Although I don't have much contact with Lillian, I can already analyze some of Lillian's behavior styles. Lillian has no feelings for demons, at least not like she has feelings for humans. Lillian has half human blood, she is very concerned about this, and she also hates it. But she grew up in the world of abyssal demons, and the blood of demons brought her great power. So Lillian's emotions are very complicated. At the same time, Lillian is also a very ambitious person. She is not willing to be another chess piece, and tries her best to escape from the doctor. In order to cooperate with herself and get rid of the fate of the chess pieces, she can sacrifice the Abyss Demon and the entire fragmented world. The purpose is to completely break away from the control of the abyssal demons and become a free body." Lin Moyu whispered, "Lillian, this is a very ambitious person. If she can get out of control, her future achievements will not be too low. Perhaps he has been in contact with Antares for a long time, and at this moment, he has a superior mentality." In the Abyss, the Demon Emperor Lillian also received the news that Lin Moyu was causing trouble to the Dragon Clan. After getting the specific information, she couldn't help showing a smile. Leaning lazily on the Demon Emperor's throne, he drank a glass of dragon's blood wine and let the bright red dragon's blood drip down the corner of his mouth. "Growing up so fast, I really didn't disappoint the Emperor. The stronger you are, the more likely my plan will succeed. I can understand your thoughts. After killing the Dragon Clan, it's time to come to our abyss. Shall I send some heads over? What do you think, little Nana?" She looked down and saw that the Succubus King was kneeling on the ground, trembling. "0, ask for flowers." Facing the Demon Emperor, the Succubus King couldn't think of any resistance. The 1,000-year prestige was too strong, and the Succubus King didn't even dare to answer. The Succubus King's real name is Liana. After becoming the Devil King, not many people dare to call her by his first name. The only one who dares to call her little Nana is Huang in front of her. The Succubus King didn't know what the Demon Emperor wanted to express, and he didn't dare to make a sound. The sound of a stone falling to the ground resounded in the palace, and an exquisite magic stone rolled in front of the Succubus King. This magic stone is very exquisite, with a high grade, and there is a faint aura of law on it. This is a top-grade magic stone, the most top-notch kind, and it is a good thing that only the Devil Emperor is qualified to have. The Succubus King knew that all his possessions could not compare to this little magic stone in front of him. But why the Demon Emperor threw this top-quality magic stone to himself, the Succubus King could never guess. But it will definitely not be a simple matter. "I want to know how loyal you are to me." The voice of the Demon King sounded, and it fell in the ears of the Demon King like a burst of buds. The Succubus King replied without thinking, "Your Majesty is absolutely loyal to His Majesty. There are no too exaggerated adjectives, and there is no flattering. A word of absolute loyalty is enough." The Succubus King probably knows the character of the Devil Emperor. She doesn't like to flatter, and prefers to speak directly. The Demon Emperor laughed coquettishly, with a hint of coldness in his voice. "Now I'll give you a chance to live. You take a demon blood oath and swear allegiance to me." The Succubus King exclaimed, "Did this subordinate do something wrong? The Devil's blood oath is not made casually. Once it is made, it must be fulfilled. If it can't be done, it is basically a certainty that it will be wiped out." The Demon Emperor's voice echoed faintly in the palace. "You have no choice, either choose to swear allegiance to me, or die here. Overbearing, unreasonable overbearing. Either swear to become the slave of the Demon Emperor, or die here." Between becoming a slave and dying, the Succubus King didn't hesitate much. A powerful aura rose from her body, and then a layer of blood essence flew out of her body, forming a blood pressure. Facing the blood cloud, the succubus king swore loudly, "I made a blood oath to become the most loyal of the demon king." Before the oath was finished, the demon emperor interrupted her again. "It's not the demon emperor, it's me. You can call me by my real name, Lillian Yule Hurley." Lillian is just the name, the full name of the demon is very long. The succubus didn't dare to resist, and honestly got up again. The law roared, following the law of the fire element and the law of the wind. Lin Moyu ushered in the baptism of the law of water and the law of thunder and lightning. Then there is the law of light and the law of darkness. Lin Moyu was a little speechless. How could Antares know all the laws? Antares showed off. "I am a genius, there is nothing I can't do. This is extremely shameless." Lin Moyu snapped back on the spot. "Do you know the law of time?" Antares misfired on the spot. In the end, Antares explained the reason to Lin Moyu. "There is a truth in the big world, which is called, if one law is mastered, all laws are mastered. As long as you reach a certain level, you can easily learn some low-level things." Antares does know many laws, but it is only superficial. For several elemental laws, Antares can only make them exert the attack power of the super god level at most. This is only possible because its level is high enough. Like the law of life, Antares also understands some fur. Just some fur is enough for it to walk sideways in this world. You can even use these furs to make mythical weapons like the Scepter of Creation. In that battle that year, Antares did make a move. Although they were all shot secretly, without it, the whole world may have fallen. In Lin Moyu's soul world, Antares stared at the skill star core that had reached its limit. Another star is about to appear. Another star is about to explode. When it explodes, the mysterious little black spot will appear, which has a fatal attraction to Antares. In the soul world, there are already 3 stars shining, and the 4th is about to appear. Antares thought that 18 more stars would appear next, illuminating the soul world together, so he had to scold him as a pervert. In its cognition, no one has ever possessed so many